Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to the Midweek War. Now we're here to talk about Impact Wrestling, as we do. But as you can see, looking around, I'm by myself this week. Eamon obviously couldn't be here. He was vomiting profusely from watching Impact. And Garza, well, Garza was so excited by Impact, he had to be rushed to the hospital. Don't worry, he's going to be fine. He just had we'll call it a popgasm. We'll call it a popgasm. You'll find out why afterwards. But before Eamon started vomiting profusely, he was able to send me his notes. So before I get into my word and good, bad, and change, let's read Eamon's notes together, shall we? Because I have not pre-read these. I'm just going to read them as I see them on the screen. I will provide context if I know what the context is. If not, well, we'll just roll with it, I guess. All right, so Eamon's notes. Opening package. Bobby Roode and Abyss face off to see who advances from group champions. He says that's wrong. No, I think that's accurate. I think I got to disagree with Eamon here, because all of them had 3 points. So, I mean, I guess it was win or go home, but there's ties, and we'll get into all that bullshit later. Pope mispronounces psyche. Pope's apparently said it's playing on the psyche of their opponents. Yeah, Pope mispronounced a lot of stuff. You should listen to Pope because you will feel smarter after listening to him. Eamon's next note here is the electronic banners that are on the sides of the entrance ramp show Brooke with the Knockouts Championship. That's always a good thing, because in case you forgot, because no one comes out with their championships, Gail Kim is the Knockouts champion currently. I think, anyway. And Josh says that Brooke was forced to compete due to the medical officials. ... What? Yeah, I remember hearing that too. I think that's a little odd, because usually medical officials will tell you not to compete. If Brooke denied the advice of the officials, that'd be okay, because she did wrestle with a broken hand. I will give Brooke all the credit in the world for that. She had these 3 matches with a broken hand, and you can see Awesome Kong was definitely working on it during the show. Eamon's next note here is another feature on YouTube that you can mute the Pope and just listen to my commentary. Eamon says that's not a thing. Yeah, I remember Josh saying that too, and the best part about YouTube is that you can just mute Impact altogether and just not listen to any commentary. In fact, it might improve the show for you. Eamon's next note here is everyone seems to love the bubble burst. I don't think that's true, especially since this time Pope wasn't even pretending to look where the bubbles were. They were popping before he was pressing the screen. It was really bad. Eamon's next note is the rules of the playoff match must be so confusing to the crowd they taped it in front of 3 months in advance. Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about that shit yet. I will be saving that. All right, Eamon's next note here is, man, they really want to take the piss out of James Storm, don't they? Hey, Eamon, I don't mean to edit your notes. That is NXT superstar James Storm. All right, Eamon's next note here is that Josh is so convinced Bobby Roode will be Abyss. Why? And Eamon, you forget, Josh has already watched this, so he actually knows. Eamon's next note is Pope explanation as to why he named Storm the most disappointing still makes no sense. And that's true, especially considering there are people who won less points than James Storm. James Storm almost won his last match with Eric Young. All right, anyway, Eric Young has been a trending topic in the World Title Series. That's not a thing because they never know what trending topics are. All right, Eamon only has 4 notes left. Josh says how innovative this tournament was, and now you see copycats. Eamon says, shut the hell up. I would like to say that this tournament was not innovative at all, as they basically just ripped the World Cup concept and made it shittier because it's lasting so fucking long. Eamon's next though is EC3 not wanting to wait during an Eli Drake Crimson match. Heart eyes emoji, and I have to agree. No one wants to watch Eli Drake versus Crimson. Basically, the EC3 and Matt Hardy, they're having an interview together. EC3 got offended by the comments and left the interview. And when he decided he wanted to come back was during the Eli Drake Crimson match, which was minimized to a teeny tiny box on the screen. And it was amazing. It was probably the best part of the show, actually, now that I think about it. And Josh said that EC3 was interrupting a classic. Yeah, no, he wasn't. Also, lols at Eli's submission finish. Anyway, those are Eamon's notes. Eamon Paton, the voice of Inspire Pro Wrestling. Thank you, Eamon. Now, for my comments about Impact Wrestling. My one word for Impact Wrestling this week is really? Yeah, I'm sorry. I popped your screen a little bit. I popped my eardrums a little bit too. I'm just so, like, we all know I did the science on how many matches this fucking thing was going to have. And yet, we decided to add more matches to it. Not sure how you do that in a tournament, but okay. I'll get to that in my bad, obviously. My good this week was the EC3 live stuff. Or live stuff. Actually, I will say the wrestling was really good this week. I enjoyed the James Storm Eric Young match. It's a shame that this is probably Storm's last match in TNA, and this is kind of how he went out, like, with a complete whimper and everyone shitting on him. But yeah, Eric Young advancing is going to be good. Awesome Kong advance, which is great. And it seemed like they confirmed that both Awesome Kong and Gail Kim were going to be wrestling men next, which is fantastic. That is what I want to see. That's what I hope happens. Yeah, but I guess we'll see. My bad this week. Group X division. This is nothing against the three men involved. Tigre Uno, Manic, DJZ, nothing against you guys. This is all creative and booking. So Tigre Uno and Manic had a match this week. And if Tigre Uno won, I believe, then they would all be in a three-way tie. They're in a three-way tie. So, 2 men advance from the bracket. So TNA's huge solution for this is to have a triple threat match. A triple threat 2 falls match, where the guy who gets the first pinfall advances. The guy who gets the second pinfall also advances. Now, I have to question this on a multitude of reasons. One, it's a triple threat match. The guy who gets pinned should just be eliminated from the group, and the other 2 guys advance. That seems to make the most sense to me. Because if you're pinned, you lost. Like, let's just say Manic pins Tigre Uno. Tigre Uno should then not have a chance to still advance by beating DJZ. That's not fair. That's a horrible concept. And it adds, you guessed it, 2 matches to this fucking thing. Granted, they're all enclosed within 1 match. But we went from 64 matches to 66 matches. This is ridiculous. And we haven't even finished all the groups yet. There's still a few groups that have to move people forward. I don't know what's going to be the main event next week, because group champion. Oh, it's Aries and Lashley. That's right. They are announced already. And gee, I wonder who's going to win that. Austin Aries, the guy who shows up in Ring of Honor, or Lashley, the guy who shows up in Bellator. But yeah, we just don't book it where there's a tie. Just don't. There's got to be a way around it. There's got to be a way around it. And the sad part is that I know TNA. DJZ is going to get screwed from this. And it's a shame because friend of the show, DJZ, the most underutilized talent on the roster. Hands down, bar none. I don't care who wants to fight me on that. I will fight you on that. But yeah, my change this week. My change is going to be the line of questioning during the Matt Hardy EC3 interview. First of all, I don't think they were actually talking to each other. I think those were separate and canned together to make it seem like they were. Secondly, if I'm EC3, first of all, I'm incredibly handsome and awesome. Secondly, if I'm talking to Matt Hardy for the first time really since Bound for Glory, I'm going to ask him one simple question that everyone should be asking. Hey, Matt, when you heard that Jeff was the referee, your brother, didn't you think that was a little unfair? It's a simple question. It's the question that should be asked for the entirety of this tournament. I mean, Jeff Hardy himself said the reason he wasn't in the World Title Series is because he attacked someone in the match. Jeff, drugged out Hardy, knows it was unfair. Also, they filmed this 3 months ago and Jeff was injured with a broken leg. But I digress. I was hoping for something a bit more substantial from the EC3 Matt Hardy interaction. And we didn't get it. And I would have liked to see them actually in studio together. Like in that little green room, wherever they are. They could have had them come in for a day. But yeah, other than that, there wasn't really much happening. There really wasn't. I mean, it's a tournament. If you see the brackets at the end of the day, you know what happened. There's no storylines going on. There's nothing really happening yet. We still have a lot more of this to go. And I think they're going to take a break, too. Because TNA is changing channels again. And a supplemental bad because I looked at my cable provider and I actually get Pop TV. Very disappointed. Pop TV is also the former TV Guide channel. So if you got the TV Guide channel, yes, that was still a thing that existed in 2015. If you got that channel, congratulations, you can ignore Impact like the rest of us. TNA will be moving there in, I believe, January. And we'll still be watching because TNA is the cockroach of professional wrestling. And much like Matt Hardy, it will never die. So, if you want to hear more about my rantings on TNA, follow me at MadMike4883 on the Twitter machine. You can also go to SorgatronMedia.com for all your wrestling needs. I was all over it this week because I happen to be in Pittsburgh. I was on the Awesome Cast, Boss Battle, Indie Mayhem Show, and the Wrestling Mayhem Show proper. Everywhere, spewing my whatever it is I spew out of my mouth, depending on your opinion, I guess. But yeah, go to SorgatronMedia.com. There's tons of great articles there. Matt Collins does a lot of really good stuff on IndieWrestling.us. And also, go to live.sorgatronmedia.com every Tuesday night. We podcast live for you, so you can interact and talk with us. And guess what? We do talk back. A lot of, like, you watch TV, you can scream at your TV all you want. They're not going to respond to you. If you scream at if you scream at us, we're not going to hear you. But if you use your all caps, and scream at us in text, we'll hear you and we'll talk back because that's the kind of crew we are. We like interaction. That's what we do at the Wrestling Mayhem Show. So for Mad Mike, I'm Mad Mike. And next week we will see you. Not sure when yet because of Turkey Day, obviously. But yeah, stay tuned to the Facebook and the Twitters and all that stuff to find out when next week's Midweek War will be going up. So yeah, for next week, have a good Turkey Day. Sadly, we will not see anyone in the TNA Turkey outfit unless. Okay, before I sign off, TNA, if you really want to make me happy, I know you don't because fuck, you've had so many opportunities. If you want to make me happy, if you want to make me smile next week, put Pope in the turkey outfit. Please. Just, I ask one little thing. One teensy tiny little thing. Do it. Do it for America. That'll do it this week. Tune in next week on The Mid Week War.